Okay, so good morning. Today is Thursday, January 8th, 2026. Almost said 2025. That was a silent yawn, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of tired, which is kind of bizarre because I took a nap last night around like 7:30, which is not a good time for a nap. I was like, I'm just tired. I'm just gonna lay down. Let me take a short nap. And I woke up again. I didn't even see what time it was. Probably around like 9-ish, 10-ish. Went back to sleep, woke up again, and it was almost midnight. Got up to do like a couple short things, immediately went back to sleep. I don't think I fell asleep immediately though, but it's like I just kind of went back down to try to go back to sleep. Had a long, interesting dream about reading Frankenstein. It's a book I've read before, but I don't think I finished it because of just how much I genuinely hated the character of Victor Frankenstein. Like, I don't really want to read this asshole anymore. I remember, like, I was reading, like, a redone version of Frankenstein. I was like, this is a lot better than I remember it. And then I woke up around 7:30 and was like, okay, I'm still a little tired, but I did a lot of sleeping. I think I'm ready to start my day. So here we are. I guess on the subject of reading. So I believe I've said this in a video or two recently that I've started reading Catcher in the Rye. Didn't get any reading done, unfortunately, yesterday. So I'm around page 70-ish. So far, I am enjoying it. The book is a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. Like, it's by no means a comedy, but excuse me, there's just been a lot of lines, like observations by Holden, where I'm like, that's really funny. The one that really, the two that stick in my mind so far are, he's talking about Ackley, and then when Ackley leaves a room, he's like, he's the kind of guy that it didn't exactly break your heart when he left a room. Like, that's good, that's funny. Or what's his roommate's name? Like Stradlater, where they're horsing around with each other, and he gets him in a half Nelson, and Stradlater's like, dude, what are you doing? Let me go. He's like, no, liberate yourself from my vice-like grip. Like, that's a funny line. Like, that, I had like a really big laugh from that. But there've also been like other parts where he's talking about his little brother Allie, who passed away, and how exactly was it phrased? But like, he's looking at these like ice skates that his mom got him for Christmas, and I believe the way he phrased it was like, it always makes me really sad when someone gives me a gift. Like, I can already tell it's like, this is a very fundamentally lonely kid, and this is not going to be a happy read. There's gonna be a lot of funny, like, there's gonna be a lot of funny lines and funny observations, but this is going to be a really unhappy story. I don't know what happens. Like, it's a very old book, and there's some things I like kind of vaguely know or have heard of. Like, I think I've heard that there's a serial killer involved. Like, I don't think Holden dies, but like, that's a thing that might happen. I know there's a dude who, like, strokes his hair while Holden's sleeping, or like while he thinks Holden is asleep, and there's an implication of some sexual abuse, and I believe one of Holden's roommates, I don't think it's Stradlater, I think it's the roommate he had before that, committed suicide. And I don't know, like, when these events happen in the book. Again, like, these might be things that, like, I've heard that didn't actually occur. I have no idea how the book ends. Like, apparently his sister rides a carousel in the last chapter, and I don't know if it's, like, a very, like, sweet, wonderful moment, if, like, the carousel malfunctions and she dies. Like, I have no idea. It's just, again, like, kind of vague things that apparently happen in the book. We'll see how it goes. I am looking forward to reading some more of it after, or, like, later on. As for which book I'm going to read next, it's probably going to be The Scarlet Letter. there's a non-zero chance that after my dream, I'm like, you know what? Let me read Frankenstein again. I don't know. And then I might read it for a bit and go, no, I still hate Victor. I'm not doing this anymore. I hate this guy. There is a strong chance, though, I'll just end up reading Confederacy of Dunces. Because it was a few years ago, we had taken a road trip. It was me, Clay, and Jose. And we were listening to the audiobook. And it was so funny. Just the way Ignatius speaks. Have I ever told you of the time when I took a bus trip down to Baton Rouge? It just cracks me up. Like, there is a strong non-zero chance I'll read that after Catcher in the Rye. Again, depending on how Catcher in the Rye ends, I might be like, dude, I need to read a pick-me-up after this. I just need some goofy shit. That's where I am with that. In terms of movies, I still haven't watched Anaconda or Avatar, Fire and Ash. I don't know if I will. Like, I don't know. Like, Anaconda's one of those. I'm like, I want to, but I'm not like, dude, I gotta go see it, especially on a big screen. But I think it'd be fun to watch. Avatar is like, I would want to watch it on the big screen, but do I really want to go watch a 3-hour, 19-minute movie that I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna like? Because I remember, I was like, dude, I'm going to go see it. I'm probably going to go see it, but I'm not super excited. And then I heard something where I think he had said something along the lines of, like, you know, like, we're going to do something a little different in this movie. And, you know, people might like it, people might not. And I'm like, okay, you know, he's saying things are going to be different. Because the second movie was basically just the first again, but with water. So maybe this one is actually going to be really cool and really unique. And then just all I've heard from reviews, like, no, this is just the same movie again. It's just the same plot. It still focuses more on the water. Like, there's the cool fire queen, and, like, she's, like, an antagonistic Na'vi. That's different. She's barely in the movie, though, so, Like, do I really want to go spend, I don't know, like, $20 to go see this 3.5 hour almost movie? Not really. I'd rather go watch the Zombieland Saga movie, which, that comes out on the 19th, so is that next weekend? Let's see, that would be 11 days. So, I don't know, I think that's Monday. I think that's not this upcoming Monday, but the one after. That sounds like something I would probably have a much better time watching, because I've been looking forward to it for a while, especially after, when did I watch season 2? When did I watch season 2? That's like 2023, somewhere around there. I've been looking forward to seeing what the hell was going to happen in this movie for a while, and I'm pretty excited for it. Madoka Magica comes out in February, but that's probably going to be only in Japan. So we probably won't get it till, like, June, August, like, probably somewhere in the summer. Oh, I just really want to go see that one. But, there's that. But one movie I did watch is I'm probably not going to pronounce it right, but, Neja, the animated Chinese film, because the sequel, Neja 2, I think is the highest grossing animated film of all time, but I think, like, a pretty high margin. And it's like, I want to go see this, but I'm going to watch the first movie first. And I was watching it on HBO, and after a while I was like, I can't do this. I can't watch this in English. It's not even that, like, the voice acting is bad. I'm like, it just, like, the lip movements aren't matching, and, like, just some of the voice, like, they feel kind of weird. Let's try this in Chinese. Oh, this feels so much better in Chinese. But for some weird reason, Neja is available in Chinese on HBO, but Neja 2 isn't. So I think I found a version I can watch in Chinese. Just gonna have to make sure it all works. And I'm hoping within the next couple days I can do that. And I definitely want to talk about it, because watching Neja 1, like, I'm not very familiar with this character, like, with this aspect of Chinese folklore. I'm like, this is really familiar, because this is just Naruto. And I don't know how much of that is intentional. Like, I don't know if any of this folklore has been changed, or like, yeah, let me rephrase that. I don't know how faithful this adaptation is, or if they maybe took some influence from other sources, like Naruto, for the movie, or how much of this, like, no, this is, like, pretty accurate. I know the ending is different, the ending of the film. Like, I don't know how much of it is similar, and maybe Naruto was heavily inspired by this story. Like, there's a lot of similarities here. Like, even when Ao Bing first showed up, I was like, I don't know, you give me, like, Sasuke vibes. The character is very different, but just, I don't know, there's something about the way he looked. Not that Sasuke has, like, dragon, horns. I was trying to say tails. I think for some reason I just thought of the show Dragon Tales. Anyways, something about his design feels a little Sasuke adjacent, although the character is very different. But just like, all right, here's the troublemaker kid who has like a demon in him, and the whole village knows that he's a demon, and he just wants to be accepted by the village, but it's not going to happen. Like, all that, like, there's a lot of similarities in here. But looking forward to watching the second one. Let's see. So in terms of albums, I have started going through MGMT, which, as I said in the video yesterday, I believe that is supposed to be management, or the management. I will be facetiously referring to them as Migment, because it makes me laugh. I listened to the first two albums, loved them. Looking forward to the next three. I think it's only three. It's a self-titled Little Dark Age. I know there's one that came out in 2024. That's three. There might be a fourth that came out in between the most recent one and Little Dark Age. We'll see how that goes. As I said in the video yesterday, I want to be better when it comes to reviewing music. In a sense where let me put it like this. I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to, like, melody and harmony and, like, the notes and all that. I really don't. But I can still say, like, I listened to this. This is how it made me feel. These were the songs that stuck out to me. This is kind of what I felt that, like, the vibe or the theme of the album was, if I think there's a vibe or a theme overall. And I did enjoy doing that. And I want to be better about actually doing it, because when I get to the end of the year, it's like, okay, time for my tier list for shows. Okay, there might be some aspects I forget, but overall, I'm like, oh, I remember specific episodes or characters or the story, so it's easier for you to remember it as a whole. Same with movies, same with games. I don't really do that with albums. Like, yeah, I remember listening to this. I don't remember a damn thing, because I just kind of binged these. And it was almost literally in one ear and out the other. But I think doing this, especially like trying to listen to an album a second time and like looking through the lyrics to maybe have the songs like sit with me a little better, will kind of help when it comes to the end of the year. Okay, how well do I remember these? Like, what was the impact that these albums left, rather than the like 4 that maybe stuck with me over the course of the year? So, I'm going to try to do that. I also haven't recorded any of my tier lists yet. I don't know when I'll start. I kind of meant to this week and then just didn't. And, like, I work today, I work tomorrow. There's always a chance I can get one done after work. We'll see. And then Saturday, I'm like, cool, that's playoffs. Sunday, that's also playoffs. So I will probably be, like, Sunday in particular, it's just going to be football all day. Which I guess we'll transition into that. Dude, Ravens Steelers was awesome. I say this as like a neutral fan, not really having a dog in the fight. That was a fun game. That was an impeccable fourth quarter. Now that the field is set, I think what I had said, like almost directly after the game, was like, this year has felt so wide open. And while there's a lot of teams that are good, like we have 3 14-win teams this year. That's actually insane. None of these teams to me have felt like dominant. Like, Denver had this huge, long win streak, but even then, a lot of those wins were by the skin of their teeth. And the Patriots, like, yeah, they've looked really good. How many winning teams have they beaten? And granted, even then, you're like, yeah, you know, a team can beat up on a lot of weaker teams and still win the Super Bowl. I've seen that happen. But, as I'm trying to say, there's like, just because they're schedule merchants doesn't mean they can't actually beat other good teams. I definitely think they can. But at the same time, it makes them a little bit harder to evaluate against someone else that you might consider more battle-tested. There was that Jacksonville-Houston game, like, what, 7-8 weeks ago that I remember watching. Like, I watched the last few minutes of it. I was like, this is actually, like, really fun. Jacksonville lost that game and has not lost a game since. Houston won that game and has also not lost a game since. It's like, they're probably the two hottest teams in the NFL in that regard. Then in the NFC, like, yeah, like, Seattle's 14-3. They look really good, but they've also split with both teams in their division. So that feels like if they were to play the Rams or the 49ers again, I could kind of see that going either way, because in this season, that's kind of how it's gone. You know, the 49ers are injured to hell and back, but they still won 12 games. So I don't know. Like, they could probably beat anybody, but there might be that one game where the injuries really catch up. The Rams at one point looked like, dang, this is probably the best, most complete team in the NFL. Then they just kind of kept losing. As I say, the Eagles, I know the defense is still good, but like the offense is broken and it could maybe get fixed. Maybe this is when they'll just like click and put it together, but I don't know how much I really trust them to do that. The Bears have, kind of like the Broncos, a lot of these wins by the skin of their teeth. They're like, so on the one hand, that gives me a lot of faith because, you know, this is a battle-tested group, but on the other hand, it's, you know, that luck's got to run out at some point, which it did against the Lions and it did against the 49ers in the last two games. Who am I missing at that point? Just Carolina? You know, like, you had a win. You had two scenarios where if you win, you're in the playoffs, and you didn't win either of them. You needed Atlanta to bail you out, which they did. Tyler Shuck still looked really, really good, but they needed Atlanta to bail them out. But, I mean, oh, I completely forgot about the Packers, too. The Packers were also injured as hell. But, it's like, yeah, this is a Panthers team that still beat the Rams when the Rams were at their peak. So, I mean, they can do it. They can theoretically beat anybody. It's any given Sunday, but I think the point I was trying to make is this year is so wide open. I thought to myself, I could see any team winning the whole thing except probably the Panthers or the Steelers. Which means, given how weird this year has gone, the Super Bowl will probably end up being Carolina and Pittsburgh. Which would be so weird. Like, I feel like that would be such a head-scratching matchup of just, how the hell did we get this? But for all I know, it would be like the game of the year. And there have been so many impeccable games this year. Like, just Bills-Ravens week 1 was incredible. But then you had that Thursday night game between the Seahawks and the Rams. And then there was the Sunday nighter between the Bears and the 49ers. Last week against the Bills and the Steelers. Excuse me, not Bills and Steelers. Ravens, Steelers. And had the B for Baltimore. I think there were a couple others that I've missed that I know were really good. Like, I wasn't able to watch it, but I know the Bears-Packers. I don't remember which one. I think both of them were supposed to be like really good games. Denver and Green Bay was pretty fun. I didn't actually get to watch Denver and the Giants, but it was a game that I kind of followed as it was happening. What a wild game. I actually got to go to the Colts and the Rams. That was a really fun game. Like, there have been so many good games this year. And I just really hope the playoffs keep that going and live up to that. Like, there will probably be somewhere like this is just a really low-scoring, sloppy game. There will probably be a couple blowouts. But I think we're going to get some good ones. So I guess to pick, going in order of the games, Rams at Panthers. I'm going to pick the Rams. The Panthers have beat them once. So like I said, I know they can do it. But I think that loss in particular is really good for the Rams because they're not going to overlook this team. Like, they've beaten us once. They can do it again. Let's make sure they fucking don't. I think they get it done. Green Bay at Chicago. I love this. Because this feels like the most Bears game possible. Or either A, after like several years in mediocrity or just being outright terrible, you finally get back to the playoffs. You have a home game against your most hated rival. They come in wounded, they come in limping, and you have a chance to maul them and devour them before moving on to the next round to host another game. Perfect. Alternatively, this wounded rival who comes limping into Soldier Field puts on a show and eliminates the Bears in front of their home crowd because the Packers still own the Bears. And I don't know which I'd prefer. I'll be honest, I will be rooting for Chicago in this one. Like, my Saints are out. I'm a neutral fan for, like, all of these. I'm like, look, man, I genuinely have no beef with the Chicago Bears or their fans. Like, I don't hate the Packers either. I'm like, look, I'd like for the Bears to have something nice, like, be able to beat the Packers in this. But I can't lie, it would be kind of funny if even after a season like this, and a Packers team this vulnerable, they still can't get it done. But I do think the Bears are going to. After this, we get Buffalo and Jacksonville, which is probably the game I am most excited for this weekend. I'm going to be honest. Number one, I think whoever wins this game is going to win the AFC. That might be a huge overreaction. But that's an overreaction Thursday. But I'm like, look, the Jags look good, man. Like, the defense has been playing well. Trevor Lawrence has been balling. Like I said, they haven't lost a game since, October? I think? And I mean, granted, some of those have been close. Like, they went to overtime against the Raiders, and they almost lost that game. I mean, like, whatever you can say about, like, the Patriots being a schedule merchant, like, you can make some similar claims against Jacksonville, although they did go into Denver, and, well, I think it was relatively close. It was like 14 points or so. Like, they kind of dominated that game against the Broncos on the road. But Jacksonville looks really good. Buffalo has flaws, as they tend to often do. And Josh Allen, as he tends to often do, does a relatively good job of overcoming and masking some of those flaws. But we'll see how far that can take them. I'm going to be honest, this is one of those games where I look at it, I'm like, look, man, my head says the Jags, my heart says the Bills. And I know, I'm like, I feel like anytime I'm like, all right, the Bills are going to take this in a playoff game, like, I feel like I tend to often get that pick wrong. So I'm sorry for jinxing y'all, but I'm going to say the Bills. But I'm not, this is one, I mean, I feel like in general, I'm not going to be surprised if I'm wrong on any of these just because of how this year is gone. But I feel like I will not be surprised if the Jags pull it out. I will not be surprised if the Bills pull it out. But yeah, I think whoever wins this game is going to the Super Bowl. I just really do. 49ers at the Eagles. I think the Niners win. Like I've said, I think the Eagles just look broken, man. And granted, like, this is the same 49ers defense, unless they've gotten some people back, that gave up a shit ton of points to the Bears. Maybe the Eagles use this and they're able to fix some shit. I don't know how healthy Brock Purdy is, because I know he kind of got blasted by the Seahawks, but assuming that he's okay, I know that's going to be a really good defense they're going against with Philly, but I think the 49ers get it done. Chargers and the Patriots. I do think this is going to be a good game. I think it'll be pretty close, but I do think the Patriots get it done. I think that Chargers O-line is going to really let them down. And then Houston and Pittsburgh, I think Houston gets it done. This is, like I said, this is one of the hottest teams in the league. This is possibly the best defense in the league. If not, they're like top 2 or 3, but I think they are the number 1 defense. I do think, like, DK Metcalf might make it interesting with, like, a good play or so, or, you know, he might make it interesting doing DK Metcalf strip, but I think Houston wins. And I guess since I picked, let me go ahead and finish off the brackets. So, we'll start with the NFC. If I have the Bears winning and the Niners winning, then the next round, and the Rams, that would be Niners at the Seahawks, Rams at the Bears. Niners-Seahawks is tough. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like the Seahawks should win, and I feel like it'll be a really good game. Something in my head tells me it's going to be the 49ers if that matchup happens. And I'm sorry, like, I'm not trying to throw any shade towards Seattle. It's not trying to be a disrespect thing. This team is fucking good. Like, they're really, really good. So are the 49ers. So are the Rams. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm almost starting to convince myself again. It's like, no, dude, like, the Seahawks will win that game because I feel like they should. I don't know. I could go either way, so I guess we'll just say Seattle. Bears-Rams, I think, should be a really good, fun game, but I think I'm going to pick the Bears. I remember at the start of the year, I said I think the Rams are going to win the NFC, and I guess I'm going to go against that and pick the Bears to beat them, but sure, we'll see what happens. Which I guess I'm saying then that's going to be Bears at the Seahawks for the NFC Championship. I do think the Seahawks would win that game. Because earlier I was thinking it might be Bears-Niners, and I think I'll pick the Bears to win the rematch. But I think the Seahawks would beat the Bears in the NFC Championship. So I guess I have Seattle going to the Super Bowl. And then on the other side, let's see, I have New England beating the Chargers, Buffalo beating the Jags. So that's the 6th seed going to the 1. So I would have Buffalo playing Denver. And I said whoever wins Buffalo-Jacksonville is going to the Super Bowl. So I have Buffalo beating Denver on the road. And then New England would host the 4-5, so they would host Houston. And I think I'd actually pick Houston in that. Which would mean an all-wild card AFC championship, which I don't know if we've ever seen one of those. I almost feel like we have, like, at least in one conference, but I couldn't pick it out. But I think I'm just remembering the NBA playoffs last year where you had the 6-seeded Wolves and the 7-seeded Warriors both make it to the second round. So a 6-seeded team had home court. And I think I'm just thinking about that and how weird that was. Because I don't think I've actually seen 2 wild card teams in the conference championship in the NFL. But I'm saying Buffalo. Houston beat them earlier in the year. And, like, I would not be surprised to see Houston go all the way. I really wouldn't. But I guess I have Buffalo and Seattle in the Super Bowl, and I mean, no offense to Seattle fans, but, like, I'll be rooting for the Bills if that happens, but I don't think I would be upset to see this Seahawks team go all the way and get it done. So, I guess those are my picks, and, like I said, given how this year has gone, I will not be surprised if I'm completely wrong. It's like, well, what do you know? It was Panthers-Steelers somehow. What the hell? But we'll see that. We also got, I think 7 coaches got fired. Let's see. Callahan, Dable during the season. Raheem Morris immediately after, like, the Falcons game. And who we lose on Black Monday? Pete Carroll. Who are the other 2? Because it was 2 on Monday. No, I think Harbaugh was also fired on Monday, but it was Monday night. Like, it was later on Monday. Gannon from the Cardinals. Now I'm blanking, because I think there was one more coach that got fired. Oh, this is probably going to bother me. But anyways, I don't know if we've heard about Todd Bowles yet. I don't know if we've heard about Aaron Glenn yet. I think from what I've heard, it sounds like Glenn is probably going to be staying. Bowles, I don't know, but we'll also see just with Harbaugh being available, how many spots that opens up. If anyone in the playoffs gets let go. If the Steelers do go one and done, there's a non-zero chance they could lose Tomlin. I'm not holding my breath, but I could see it happening. I guess just kind of going through everyone real quick. McDonald, so just NFC, McDonald, Johnson. I'm still going to say Sirianni is safe. I mean, he's been to 2 Super Bowls and he's won one of them. Say what you will about the guy and, like, how jank the offense has looked. Like, I think he's earned his stay. Callahan. Wait, is it Callahan? No, it's Canales. Excuse me. I mean, he still got the Panthers into the playoffs. You know, they're kind of maybe building something. I think he still stays. And then they're not getting rid of Sean McVay. They're not getting rid of Kyle Shanahan. Matt LaFleur is a maybe. And granted, it's like, you know, you had like a Super Bowl roster, Super Bowl aspirations. If you're the 7th seed, bounce in the first round to your hated rival, it doesn't look great. If there have been a lot of injuries, maybe you get away with that. But there have been arguments that, like, you know, this team has been looking really disappointing. You know, the past few years, you just keep getting the 7th seed. Maybe they try to go in a different direction. I guess it feels kind of like Tomlin, where, like, I'm not holding my breath, but I wouldn't be shocked. Then the AFC. Sean Payton's not going to be going anywhere. Vrabel's not going to be going anywhere. Cohen, no. Like I said, Tomlin, maybe. DeMeco Ryans, I would be shocked. Sean McDermott, I wouldn't be that surprised. Like, Harbaugh, I think, is definitely safe. McDermott, if they don't go on a run, especially if they're out in the first round, I think McDermott's probably gone. If they lose, like, first round, I think he's out. Second or third round, maybe. I think if they go to the Super Bowl, win or lose. Like, if they lose the Super Bowl, I think he's safe. If they lose another conference championship to not the Chiefs, maybe. But it might also just kind of depend on, like, how they look. Like, is it just a look, man, you guys just kind of got screwed? If it really is, like, those were just terrible coaching decisions, like, I don't know. He's more of a defensive guy, and if it's the defense very clearly letting them down, he might just get let go. That's that. So I guess as I wrap this up, hey, this one might not actually go to an hour. We're getting more concise. Let's go. Just some writing stuff to talk about. So number one, I guess with all 3 of them. Severance. I'm getting some music commissioned. I've commissioned the title theme and a lullaby that's a recurring track. I got the draft for the title theme, I think 2 nights ago, and I really liked it. I really like it. I have some notes, and I'm looking forward to seeing the revision. I'm really excited. Like, it just sounded really good already. I'm like, okay, if we get this change, might be perfect. So we'll go. So there's that with Ayla. So my next chapter is going to be next week, because I uploaded on Christmas, and I tend to do 2 weeks, which would have been tomorrow, but I had said, I was like, look, I'm going to need another week, because it's the holidays, just trying to vibe, just trying to enjoy it. And that chapter is getting really, really close to being done, but that should no question be done next week, you know, knock on wood. So that's going. So it's being posted on Royal Road, but I, over the past few days, went ahead and got it caught up on Scribble Hub as well. I had initially intended to post it on both, but I remember having some trouble with, like, Scribble Hub's UI, and I just got frustrated and said, like, fuck it, I'm not going to do it. And I was like, you know, let me try this again, just to see if I can get it to work, because if I do, I'd rather have it in multiple places, because more people can potentially read it. So that's now in both places, and I tried to put both links there in the description of this video, as I'm trying to do in all my videos in general. So there's that. Then with Orichalcum, I guess it's 2 things. Number 1, I am expecting another blog post review very soon, because it was someone who I had contacted last year. Sorry, I just also remembered something else. I was like, I still haven't heard back from Barnes & Noble, and I had reached out to them again last week. So I don't know if they're just, like, super busy, if I'm being ignored. So that sucks, because I was hoping I could maybe get like a book signing done. Anyways, point though. That's one thing, but blog review should be, I was told it should all be kind of done by mid-January. So I would expect by about this time next week. So I guess, like, yeah, around this time next week, maybe Friday or so. But looking forward to that. Obviously a little nervous, but excited. And I'm also in another contest. This is Spiffbo. It is the self-published fantasy blog off. And my understanding is that this is it's a big thing for self-published fantasy novels, where you enter it and then they run a lottery system. They're like, all right, you have 24 hours to enter. We're going to randomly pick 300 books that entered, and then we're just going to divvy them up. Like, all right, this blog, you get like 20 to 30 to review, etc., etc., etc. And that's, I guess that's like the initial thing. And then after that, they will look through the books. From what I understand from reading the rules, they're not expected to fully read every book, because, like, look, that's a shit ton of books. And it's more of just kind of like look over the synopses, kind of skim through them a bit to determine the ones that you think you're really interested in and read those, and then leave a review of your favorite and say this is the one that's moving on. And so I believe there's 10 blogs, and then so each one submits their favorite, and that's the finals. And then every blog reviews every finalist, gives a review of their favorite, and from there you determine the winner. That's my understanding. I could be totally wrong. So I know mine got entered, and I know mine is assigned. Like, I know mine made it past the lottery. So we'll see how that goes. Hoping it does well. I mean, definitely. I really hope it does well, and that it gets reviewed, it reviews well, and it gets some more eyes on it. I think there's another couple contests I entered late last year, where around like February, March-ish, I might hear back from that, and it's kind of the same thing. It's like winning a contest, like that's hype, that's exciting to me, and I can put that on a website. I still have to make a website, but like stuff like that. But also, if it gets eyes on it and it makes people interested and people read it, well, that's good. That's kind of what I'm wanting to happen. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, and I think I got some artwork for it too, which I did last week. Finally share a piece of artwork that wasn't Orichalcum related. Shared the original Susan commission, and I do want to do that like every Saturday. It's not always gonna be like a Susan Saturday, although I have a lot of Susans I can share. But yeah, it's like, here's something from this, like here's something from the visual novel Orichalcum, something else like completely different. If Clay's okay with it, because I have some art of like his characters from Shadow Maiden, the game he's making. I might post some of that. Like, we'll see. It's like, I have a lot of stuff I can share, and I think it would just be really fun to do so. But I think that's it. I guess the only other thing is I've started going to the gym again, kind of taking it slow, easing myself into it, but I'm about to probably go back to the house, drop some of my stuff off, and then go to the gym to work out. See.